Peace, guys. Patrick, Conservative Rap. And in this video, we are going to be covering what's currently happening in the news. As you know, the government's corrupt. Trump and the Patriots have a ultimate game plan, magnificent, dare I say it, 4D chess-like game plan to expose them. And each day, the criminal syndicate becomes much more exposed than they historically have ever been. Not only are we in a wonderful information age, but there's a 4D chess that's happening. And I love what we're seeing now. Let's cover what's going on and talk a little bit about that dynamic. So here's Elon Musk. And this is just to go into the whole spiel. I can't believe I'm saying it, but Elon Musk is right. And Elon is commenting on Adam Schiff. Here you have Adam Schiff saying he agrees with Elon. Quote unquote, the big beautiful bill is filled with all sorts of dangerous far right pork. Today I want to talk about some of it, and it's 8 minutes of him rambling about nonsense. But Elon said in response to this, let's see if I could, here you go. Few things can convince me to reconsider my position more than Adam Schiff agreeing with me. You damn Skippy. It's fascinating to see these deep state actors expose themselves. Again, remember, this nonsense about them not wanting to raise the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling has been raised 103 times already. Just like the tariffs, the dynamic with this bill is really bringing the fundamental way they finance their deep state operations to a more exposed state, which is wonderful. And in my belief, this is just my theory. You may have heard this in other like podcasts or whoever you listen to and get information from. Trump is really using Elon to flush them out. He's an ultimate businessman. And I think when he's saying it's full of pork, when Elon is saying it's full of pork and when it's full of bullshit, that's really a ploy to get them to have the dialogue open up and really get people starting to look at things and starting to analyze the bill on its own merits, which you and I both know rarely happens. Here's Stephen Miller. Realistic boarding funding. Libertarians want to scale back the deportation program. Is that why they're fighting this bill? The big beautiful bill has no pork. It's a tax cut plus deportations plus welfare reform. Also saying no salt just means saying they don't pass any bill. It takes 218 to win. All right, and moving on to, there's a gentleman on X that I really like, AJ, and he broke this down. I love this thread. I'm going to retweet it if I haven't already. This really goes into the nature of government spending. In this thread, I want to give you an idea of just how insane the current government spending is and how far we've drifted away from any sustainable fiscal spending. This is all based on reported numbers, and there's no assumptions or forecast. In the current fiscal year, the government already spent $4.1 billion. This is for the first 7 months, and the fiscal year ends in September. The latest available data is of April. The already accrued deficit amounts to over $1 trillion, $1 trillion and 49 billion total. You can see in the chart below how net interest expense has become the #2 largest spending category at $579 billion for 7 months, after Social Security, $907 billion, and even exceeded national defense, $536 billion, health, $555 billion, and Medicare, $550 billion. The deficit is 34% of total receipts, 1049 over the 3,110. In other words, the government spent 34% more than it took in. He gives the graphs, and then he goes further in depth, but I think you're getting the point here. It's really time, I think, we start holding the government accountable and showing how they finance their own nonsense. Rapid Response put this out. I want to thank Russ Vought. I know Russ, like Trump, cares about the budget, cares about spending and reducing it. We've got to get this bill passed. We have to stop this gigantic tax increase that the Democrats are offering.
I want to thank Russ Vought. I know Russ, like President Trump, cares about the budget, cares about reducing spending, and I know Russ Vought is going to fight really hard to make sure that happens. Here's my concern. We've got to get this bill passed. Now, what do we have to do? We have to stop this gigantic tax increase that Democrats are all for. We've got to. secure the border. We've got to plus up our military, but we've got to figure out how to get this debt under control. I want to thank Russ Vogt. I know Russ,
So again, guys, the debate between Elon and Trump effectively forces people to look at the bill technically and analytically. The Dems, I can foresee them starting to look to Elon now because the left doesn't really have a leader. And where do you think Elon ultimately is going to lead them back to? So let's move on. This is, again, Rapid Response has really good material on the administration policies and the deficit. But let's move on to Brian Cates. According to AG Pam Bondi, just now at her press conference, according to a detailed federal grand jury probe that is part of an ongoing investigation into human trafficking, the grand jury found that Kilmer Abrego Garcia, again, the quote-unquote Maryland man, was an MS-13 gang member, was part of a highly organized national human trafficking ring, was involved in child sexual abuse, was involved in sexual assaults of females who were being trafficked, and was involved in several murders of rival gang members. And this is who the left supports. This is who they champion as one of their mascots. All of this stuff is starting to come to light, and we can thank the information age for it. So here's Rasmussen reports. 66% of Americans agree, deport illegals to liberate American. 51% of Dems, 65% of independents, 83% of Republicans, and thus all voters, 66%. They're losing the narrative. The time of promoting illegals who came through the back door rather than the front door as some sort of victimhood class, it's coming to an end and everyone's waking up to it. Let's move on to Mike Davis. In case you missed it from last night, another Supreme Court win for Trump, the presidency and the Constitution. Under Article 2, the president has all executive power, and he has the duty to take care that our laws are faithfully executed. This includes rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. So President Trump has ordered DOJ investigators to do this at the Social Security Administration. For example, are we paying dead people? Are we paying illegal aliens? But left-wing judges tried to stop this common sense audit. Fortunately, the 6 Republican-appointed justices stopped this judicial activism and sabotage. Apparently, the 3 Democrat-appointed justices aren't concerned about fraudsters ripping off Social Security or the rest of the government. And this was just another win based off the court balance that we have currently. Thank God we have some common sense people like Clarence Thomas in the Supreme Court still to nudge things along in the correct manner. And here we are with Cat Turd. I'm starting to see a pattern here. And even Kilgore is what Cat Turd is responding to. In Colombia, the right-wing candidate Miguel Uribe was just shot. In Ecuador, the right-wing candidate Fernando Villavicencio was assassinated. In Brazil, the right-wing candidate Jair Bolsonaro was stabbed. And in the United States, the right-wing candidate Donald Trump, was shot. The left was, is, and always will be a murderous and demonic death cult. Remember, this is the same party that started the Ku Klux Klan, who Cat Turd and Evan are citing. All right? I'm wondering, and I think we're all wondering, why is the left supporting MS-13 gang members? Why don't they want to stop fraud? Why do they resort to violence globally as people start to wake up and there's more of a resurgence of populism? There's more resurgence of each country being nationalist in their own sense. As Trump would say, and I think he's brilliant for saying this, I put America first, and every leader of every country should be putting their country first, right? Again, common sense terminology. I shared with someone the other day, they were asking me, why do you think Trump is so persuasive and effective at galvanizing people, specifically young men? And I said, well, one of the things that's brilliant about Trump is he has this unique way of paraphrasing or coin phrasing entire political arguments. For example, get men out of women's sports. Or in this instance, he'll say things like, if you don't have borders and you don't have elections, you don't have a country. So again, this common sense, another saying from Trump, right? It's not really the conservative party, it's the common sense party, which then, of course, amalgamates independents and logical Democrats, like leftists who are common sense leftists, into the MAGA movement. It's very brilliant what Trump does with language and how he can, in like 5 words or less, like pinpoint the crux of an entire argument. And then lastly, this is from Clandestine, War Clandestine or MJ Truth Ultra. Check this out. This is how quickly it all happened. Elon's 130-day special government employee status expired. Trump says it'll be the last day for Elon Musk, but not really. He'll always be with us. Elon shows up with a black eye, hint, hint, on his farewell, signalizing his role will change and what's to come. Elon then accuses Trump of going to Epstein Island. Hint, you now have Democrats saying, let's take a look at the Epstein files.
X could do it. If you knew X, you could do it.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, what is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there's a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France, so. But
What does that mean?
No,
I didn't notice it.
First lady of France.
I didn't notice it.
So yeah, no, I was just horsing around with little X, and I said, "Go ahead, punch me in the face," and he did. It turns out even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does.
That was X that did it? X could do it. If you knew X, you
I
could
saw
do
his
it.
mom right now. But I didn't really feel much at the time, and then I guess it bruises up. But I was just horsing around with the kids.
I didn't
basically.
notice it, actually.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, what is your eye okay?
Again, read the clips here. Think about the 4D chess of it all and how everything's coming together slowly. It's art of the deal, and prior to that, it's art of war. Now, Clandestine put this out, and I thought this was interesting. He's talking about the clip where Elon said Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, right? And let's take a quick read. Elon has gone back and deleted this tweet along with a handful of others. The optics for Elon look terrible, but let's look at the positives from all this. Elon created distance from Trump, which could be beneficial for the long run of Elon's work in the private sector. Now, if Tesla starts booming, the left can't claim that Trump is helping his billionaire buddy. This might also help with the libs keying and firebombing Teslas, maybe, hopefully. The narratives that Elon controls Trump and vice versa have been dispelled. The left now has a heightened interest in the Epstein files, something they used to claim was a conspiracy theory. They're now emotionally invested. Trump came off as looking stable, mature, goal-oriented, etc., and disproved a lot of anti-Trump talking points with how he handled this little spat. After analyzing the current outcome of the feud, I can see the potential advantages of Trump and Elon having distance between one another, now that Elon's time as a special government employee is over, which leads me to the question, how much of this public spat was real? Or maybe Elon really did just lose his ish, and we just witnessed the biggest flameout in history happen on the world stage. Maybe it will one day all make sense, but as of right now, it looks terrible. All right, and again, think art of the deal, think also art of war. And I think you'll have a good lens for what you see happening with Elon, what you see happening with Trump, and how there might be a little bit of tactical subterfuge with narrative warframe control happening before us in real time. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and check me out on Instagram as well as TikTok for the rhymes and the poetry. More to come soon, and thanks for listening. Take care.